Have you ever felt yourself as a foreigner in your own country? Have you ever felt not likely to talk about yourself, about your roots, about your background, about your thoughts, beliefs, ideas, just in order to be accepted by your surrounding community? It is common for the people not likely to accept those who are slightly different than they are, so-called minorities. But in fact, majority is quite artificial concept, because in many cases, majority consists of groups of several minorities: national minority, sexual minority, religious minority, gender minority, age minority, migrant minority, vaccinated minority, unvaccinated minority, educated minority, uneducated minority, depending in what society we are. But still, knowing this concept of majority and minority, we still live in a disbalance. We still face this fear of proclaiming ourselves, and we still have a risk of not being accepted. I'm a Tatar. It's a national minority in Russia. When I introduce myself here in the Czech Republic, I mention "Sem Tatarka." And there's always some funny guy who is saying, "Nice to meet you, I'm ketchup." Because in Czech language, Tatarka is a shortened version of Tatar sauce. And that's pretty much some people know about Tatars. Meanwhile, we're not just national minority in Russia. We are the second largest population in Russia, according to the decadal statistics of confessed Tatars, because there's still some fear of Tatars to confess they are Tatars. There are about 8 million living just in the Russian Federation. But we live all around the world. We are widespread all around the world. We live, there's a big communities, there are big diasporas, post-Soviet countries as Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Ukraine, Azerbaijan, Baltic states, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia. You will find Tatar village in Poland. There's centuries of Tatars living in Finland, in Turkey, in China, in Australia, in the United States. And I just mentioned those who are widespread, who has bigger communities there. We have our own language, Tatar language. And we used to write Arabic letters. But moreover, more than a century, we use Cyrillic letters. But it doesn't make our language close to Russian language. In fact, we are far away from any Slavic language. Our language is close to Turkish language, Azerbaijani, Kyrgyz, Sakha, and 100 other Turkic nations. Yes, we are Turkic nation. You can see the map. Most of Tatars are Muslims, but we have a minority who are Christianized or baptized Tatars. Here in the picture, you see church and mosque or masjid staying next to each other in Kazan Kremlin, which is main city of Republic of Tatarstan in Russia. We have our own culture, food, games, fests, festivals, traditions, music, sport, of course, traditional dresses. But we are a Turkic minority with minority religious views, Islamic views in Russia, whereas the main channel is Orthodox and Slavic, and Russian channel. I should probably explain that in English, it's just one translation of two terms in Russian. There's a term Ruski, which means Russian as ethnicity, and term Россиянин, which is term in the meaning of citizenship, Russian citizenship. But in English, it's just Russian. In fact, I'm Россиянка, but not Русская. But in English, it doesn't have sense. I'm Russian, but not Russian. In Russia, there are living over 500 different nationalities. But the main course was chosen as Russian channel. It's not just only in Russia. Any other country, in terms of simplifying its representation in the international arena, is choosing one main discourse. It's nothing bad in it. But those minorities, they feel themselves less valuable. They feel themselves sometimes disregarded. And in fact, it goes sometimes into discrimination. It's not happening just in Russia, of course. I met a Mexican girl in a conference. She was denying her Mexican roots. She was proclaiming she's US American ethnicity, just in order to be accepted by us, by community. In the end, she confessed that she is Mexican, but she was afraid we will not take her seriously. I met a Roma person, Roma businessman. He was proclaiming that he's Italian, just in order to be accepted by the Czech business community, seriously. I met people with mixed origin who were not accepted by any of communities, so they have now self-identity crisis. But it's not about national minorities. I met a Muslim person who was saying that he's vegetarian in order to be accepted by the community and not eat pork. I met Polish representative of sexual minority who was, in order to be safe, he was hiding his personality. It's just examples which I saw or observed, but I'm pretty sure all of you, have some examples which you know from your colleagues, from your friends, from your family. Maybe you yourself experienced it. I experienced this fear of self-identity myself, here, in a scientific conference. When people ask me where I'm from, sometimes I'm afraid to say that I'm from Russia, because I know that the questions about the political opinion will follow up. And regardless my answer, I will not be accepted. But this is just cases of mistreatment. Yes, minor things of unacceptance. Imagine nowadays, now, at this minute, there are people who has real fear. They are under threat to be killed, to be tortured, to be raped, to be deprived of the family, to be deprived of their property, to be deprived of their human dignity, identity, personality, just because they are a minority. You may say, why international community doesn't do anything? In fact, there are international legal documents, international treaties, conventions, which are aimed to protect the minorities. And most of the democratic states actually incorporated them in their national legislation. You may have heard about Universal Declaration of Human Rights, so-called International Constitution, which sets principles of freedom and equality for dignity and rights without distinctions of any kind, such as race, color, sex, language, political and social opinion, nationality, ethnicity, status of birth, status of property, etc. But why it's still happening, this disbalance? We know that it's not followed, not on many times on international level, neither on national level. On a daily basis, we face it. We face this fear, and we face this discrimination, discreditation, disregard. Fear comes up because you're not protected, fully protected. But fear is an infection. You can infect with your fear the other person who is less confident or under more threat than you are. The fear is the thing you should fight with. How? It's simple. Just study about yourself. Study about your roots, about your family, about your background, about your home city, about your homeland. about the place you live in, about your beliefs, about your ideology. Don't be greedy, share this with another person. Share this information. Learn about ourselves. You may say, why do we need it? Why do we need these differences? We live in the 21st century. We are just people. We don't need any kind of minorities or any kind of differentiate things or divisions. You know, great minds of our society, such as George Orwell, Mikhail Zamyatin, Aldous Huxley, they warned us. They warned us about the future when we are the same, when we don't have anything different. We don't have future there. In these books, there's no future. Our differences, this is our advantage. This is advantage for community. We are enriching our community by our different views, our different perspectives, our different mentality, our different backgrounds. We are making better future. We are shaping it in correct way. If we will be just those who are not different, there is no future for us. Once I was invited for Czech elementary school by the same organization, and they asked me to present about Tatars. They were kids about 5, 7 years old, mostly Czech kids or Czech Vietnamese, Czech Ukraine, Czech Spanish, Czech Serbian kids. And they were listening carefully, and in the end they asked me a question which I never received from any adult person. It was a really simple question, but I never thought about this question. What do Tatars do when they're happy? And what do Tatars do when they're sad? Oh my God. The process started. I started analyzing all the information I had in my mind. I was trying to make it clear, make it simple. But from my mouth went out just really basic information. I said, well, when we're sad, we have a lot of sad songs. We are singing sad songs. We are praying to God. We're asking the God for patience to go through these hard times. We're asking God to ease our pain. We're supporting each other who are in sadness. Of course, we're gathering with the families, friends. We're cooking, we're eating. When we are happy, well, we have a lot of fun songs and bright dances. Of course, we're praying to God for thankfulness for giving us this opportunity to be happy. We are sharing happiness with our beloved ones. Of course, we are gathering. Of course, we are cooking and eating. And the kids were like, oh, Tatars are like us. We're same. We're doing same. And they started sharing the stories. But this is really simple, but at the same time is wise, very wise. Both the question and the reaction. Yes, we are different, but we are human beings. We are sharing same values. Fear of self-identity is an infection, and we can infect other people. And sometimes fear of self-identity jumps to the other person and becomes the fear of unknown. And fear of unknown creates aggression. And aggression leads to the hate. In order to avoid hate, or at least decrease the level of hate, let's study, learn, educate ourselves, and give this opportunity to the others. Thank you so much.